Hey guys, you're watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and in this video, I want some help from you guys. When I started my channel, one of the reasons, among many, was to try to start to redefine what prepping means.
Okay, so you all heard Tyler, and who hasn't seen his video on the call to action for redefining prepping? And he's got a lot of video responses on it. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, the channel name is Let's Talk About Prepping, and Tyler is the host. So let's see. We have this VR from one of my favorite guys out here, Manifestation of Imagination. And he took the time to do a video response in which he said, I don't got time for this. I don't care what people think. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And so actually, I jotted down some notes for my response. So I'm going to look down at them because I'm old. And I probably have to use my glasses for that. So excuse me here. And if you call me your teacher, well, oh well, whatever. Okay, so let's see. Redefine prepping. Well, I don't know. How can you redefine prepping? Because I don't know what other people say prepping is or isn't. To me, I'm just simply going to say a prepper is a person who is prepared for things. So you can be a doomsday prepper, you can be a zombie apocalypse prepper, you can be a my garden is overflowing prepper. So to me, let me pause this here. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that because I could just hit that button and you would never know. Okay, so what do I determine to be a prepper? Well, not just one who prepares, but I think a prepper is going to be your homesteader, your farmer, your gardener, and you know what? Even your extreme couponers are preppers. They may not think that. They may think they're only saving money, but why are you buying 10 bottles of shampoo? Because you know you're going to have to wash your hair a lot more times that you're going to need 10 bottles of shampoo. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you're prepping for the future. That's what we're all doing. That's what our community is based on. So, no matter what we prepare for, we're a prepper. Now, to a lesser extent, I would say a survivalist, because there are people who are survivalists just because they're survivalists. That doesn't mean they are preparing for anything, but that also does not mean that a prepper should not know some survivalist techniques, such as which weeds you can eat in the summer when you have no food. Can you go outside and eat a dandelion? You sure can. You can eat every part of a dandelion. The stem, I don't think, is very palatable. Speaking of not being palatable, I'm trying to put together my video that I had to make in 10 little pieces, and I don't know how to put it together. But the Osage orange, the monkey balls, I just processed a bunch of them. I dried some like fruit leather, and I put some in the freeze dryer. And so that is a kind of survivalist technique. Everybody has always said, oh, those aren't edible. When in fact they are edible, they're just not palatable. And if you doubt that, yeah, I had to pause it again. There's an amazing video out there from Amazon Kitchen, and it's called Primitive Cooking 4K $1,000 bear steak. And in that amazing video, which you can just watch and get so hungry even if you've just eaten, you watch him cook in the woods, and he goes to the creek and he picks up an Osage orange and he washes it off, and then he brings it up, he slices that up, he grills it, and then guess what he did? He ate it. So while I was processing these Osage oranges into a powder, well, they're not a powder yet. I made a slurry, but I was tasting them, and yeah, they're edible. And honestly, I kind of think it resembled visually some guacamole. And I may end up trying to make them taste a little better, but they are definitely something that you could use to stretch other foods. But as always, I digress into a million, million other subjects. So back to Tyler's redefining prepping. So I have a family relative. Does that make sense? Okay. I have a family member who I am really tight with, and our political views are polar opposites. It's just hilarious that we're so much similar but different. Anyway, for the first time, we go a lot of places together, and she happened to be with me when I needed to feed my feral cat, which is kept at our undisclosed location where we keep a lot of our stuff. So she came in because she had only been there a couple of times, and she came in, and I showed her my food storage that I have in the buckets. And she saw a bucket that said cinnamon, a bucket that said garlic powder. And yeah, they're not 5 gallon, they're 3 gallon buckets full of spices packed in Mylar. And she said, wow, you have that much cinnamon. And I said, yeah, you know how many times I've told you, because I've asked her, hey, you live so far away from everything. What would you do if the shit hit the fan? I didn't say it like that, but she's like, oh, well, we would just hunt deer in the woods. And I said, don't you think everybody would be hunting deer in your woods? I mean, really? She lives right up against huge acreage, but that's what everybody would be doing, is hunting the bear in those woods. So I said, don't you think you ought to just keep some things on stock just in case, just in case you need them? And she's just like pretty like, yeah, I don't know. So when she saw everything I had, I said, the thing is, I buy it when it's on sale, and then I store it here. And I'm trying to immerse her lightly into prepping. And she's like, and I said, this is what you could do in your basement: get a shelf and just keep a little bit of stuff. So instead of saying, oh crap, I'm out of this, well, then, like, all you got to do is run to your own personal store that you own downstairs in your basement, and then just keep a list on what you need to replace out of there. And she's like, hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Now, whether she'll do it, I don't know. You can only try to encourage people to do things. And sometimes I think, like, I don't know what I think. Okay, so I had to pause that, and I don't know where I was, but I guess it's about time to wrap this up. So no matter what you're preparing for, if you even can your food, guess what? You're a prepper. If you go out on Friday and buy your food for the coming week, guess what? You're a prepper. If you pack your lunch for work, guess what? You're a prepper. Like, so I don't think we need a whole different term. I just think that people maybe need to readjust the extremeness that they've applied to everyone. Preppers aren't hoarders, although preppers could be hoarders and hoarders could be preppers. But you know what? I think that's also just a whole nother topic. But so, even like I said, even if you're like Penelope the squirrely prepper who does all those amazing coupon deals, who's buying packs of wipes for 50 cents when I think I'm getting a great deal at $1.40. And I mean, we're preppers. I buy a case of wipes. I pay probably 3 times as much as Penelope does. But you know what? We all have stuff to learn, and we're all prepping. So that's it. I kind of, Yeah, I'm not used to this. So I'm just not really sure. I think I'm kind of like
What's going on? Well,
so I
not really.
think I'm more than likely going to agree with Reed, maybe. From manifestation of imagination. You can't change what people think. You can only look at them like they're an asshole when they say, "Oh, you're a prepper." You can just spin that right back around with them, just like the people who say, "You keep a gun by your bed," and then you just look at them and say, "Well, yeah. Where do you keep yours?" So I don't know. All right. Be blessed, everyone.